You're listening to the Daily Sales Tips Podcast, and I'm your host, Scott Ingram. Today's tip comes from Jason Bay of Blissful Prospecting, and it is solid stuff as always. Here he is.
One thing that's changed quite a bit since Outbound, as we know it today, in its current form at least, became a thing. And it's something I've been talking a lot about lately, and it's Outbound 3.0. What's changed is, there's been the advent of social media and LinkedIn's become a really hot thing, but we're kind of moving into this area of thought leadership. So I kind of want to walk you through what this means and what you need to start doing if you're not doing this in your outreach right now. So Outbound 1.0 was very much a push type of marketing or prospecting activity. So this is in the 90s and the 2000s, and this is where mass email blasts work really well. If you're familiar with predictable revenue and the referral cold email, sending a one-liner email asking who the right person is to chat with about their company, that email used to work really well. And you didn't have to use a multi-channel approach either. You could just use cold email, and it worked really well. And then Outbound 2.0 came around, and this is in the late 2000s to probably around 2016, 2017. This is before LinkedIn really started blowing up as a place to publish content. And this is where we started to notice that prospects were, and people in general, were getting really desensitized to mass email blasts, and they stopped working. And what people had to start doing was multi-channel. So, hey, instead of just sending an email campaign, you got to mix that together with phone and social, and maybe you throw a direct mail in. But the bottom line is that it's multi-channel, and those things work together instead of independent marketing or prospecting channels. And then pre-call research became a really big thing too. And Sales Navigator came out, and it made research less labor intensive. And the personalization, it was good enough if you just pointed out something about the person to show that you were human. And that brings us to Outbound 3.0. And this started happening around 2017, and we're in full swing right now. And it's really where I see the next 5 to 10 years of prospecting going, is that contact rates have decreased significantly because everyone is using sales engagement tools now. So it's really easy to use a tool like Mailshake, pay $25 a month, and you can start just murdering people with emails. So multi-channel prospecting is definitely here to stay. That's what we've learned in the last couple of years, and now we're adding video to the mix. But the new thing right now that I alluded to earlier is thought leadership. So the strategy now is more of a push and a pull strategy, where the sales reps that are really killing it on the appointment setting side are using a pull strategy. So places like LinkedIn, getting featured on podcasts, and they're getting in front of their customers or potential customers, and they're looking for people that are interacting with their stuff or getting online and looking where they can start conversations prior to reaching out with their outbound cadence. And what that looks like right now and what you can start taking advantage of is a couple of different things. So one, if you're not posting any content on LinkedIn, what you could start looking for is, I would make it on your action list, spend 30 minutes a day connecting with 10 people that you want to prospect to, and just start liking and commenting their content. And sooner or later, what you're going to find is they start popping up in your newsfeed, and then you can have a reason for reaching out to them based on what they comment on, what they're posting about, etc. If your prospects are really not on LinkedIn much, another thing that you could do too, or in terms of posting content, another thing that you could do as you're building up your followers is you can start engaging with people that visit your profile, but for whatever reason don't connect with you or message you. So there's a way that you can do that by going to your homepage on LinkedIn and just looking at people that have looked at your profile, see if they fit in your ideal client profile, and you could start prospecting to them. And then lastly, what you can do is start putting up a post or two each week. And as you're building up your followers, this is the way that I normally prospect. And you can look at people that are liking and commenting on your posts. And if they fit your ideal client profile, that's a pretty warm lead that's showing a lot of intent and engaging with your content that's relative to, I'm assuming you're posting about stuff that you can help with or challenges that your prospects have. And that becomes the reason you can reach out to them. So Outbound 3.0 is all about thought leadership. And my action for you is think more about how you can create more thought leadership in really simple ways by liking stuff, engaging with people that are posting content that's related to how you can help them, and then posting content yourself and using that as a way to start conversations with people.
Let's talk about thought leadership for just one more minute. First, though, this is going to be Jason's second to last weekly tip here on Daily Sales Tips because he's getting ready to launch his own podcast. So make sure you're on his mailing list so you can get the announcement about that as soon as it happens. You'll find that link at dailysales.tips/381. That also means I'm going to be in need of more really amazing prospecting tips, and that's your opportunity to build your own thought leadership. This show is currently the #1 sales podcast on Spotify in the US. And the other thing that we've started doing more consistently is producing transcribed video versions of these tips. So if you contribute your own sales tip, we'll send you that video file, which you can then share on LinkedIn to grow your own visibility and thought leadership. The details on submitting a tip are at dailysales.tips/submit. Simple as that. Now, be sure to come back tomorrow for another amazing sales tip from one of your fellow listeners.